Shabbat Shalom, folks. I'm going to read this week's Torah reading, the Torah reading for this Shabbat. Right now, we are in Shemot 1, verse 1. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Yan Yaakov, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehudah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Yan Yaakov were 70 souls, for Yosef was in Egypt already. And Yosef died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. Shavan. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Yosef. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor or harshness. 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, When ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, or bear quickly, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Hence, that was their excuse right there. I mean, that was their excuse for, I mean, they're probably, sounds like they were lying there, but that was their excuse for saving the men children alive. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. 21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi, and the woman conceived, and bare a son, and when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit or know what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Shabbat. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moshe, meaning drawn out. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? 14. And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killedst the Egyptian? And Moshe feared and said, Surely this thing is known. So yeah, they were talking to him. They were talking to Moshe there, and asking him, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killedst, as you killed the Egyptian? Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moshe stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. 21. And Moshe was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moshe Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And that's Moshe talking there, saying he's a stranger in the land of Midian because he came from Egypt. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Elohim by reason of the bondage. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Avram, with Yitzchak, and with Yaakov. And Elohim looked upon the children of Israel, and Elohim had respect unto them. Shalosh. Now Moshe kept the flock of Yetro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Jehovah appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Jehovah saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of thy father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. Shabbat. And Jehovah said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress them. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And that's Elohim talking right there. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The Elohim of your fathers hath sent me unto you, And they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And Elohim said unto Moshe, Ehia, Asher Ehia, or I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Ehia hath sent me unto you. And Elohim said moreover unto Moshe, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yehovah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Avraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, Yehovah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Avraham, of Yitzchak, and of Yaakov appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzite, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, and thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, Yehovah Elohim of the Hebrews hath met with us, and now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yehovah our Elohim. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let you go. 21. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons, and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil or plunder the Egyptians. And Moshe answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yehovah hath not appeared unto thee. And Yehovah said unto him, What is that in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it. And Yehovah said unto Moshe, Put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yehovah Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Avraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov hath appeared unto thee. And Jehovah said furthermore unto him, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. Shavang. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again. And bosom means chest, I'm pretty sure. And plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh, meaning the leprosy was gone, it was normal again. And this shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And this shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these 2 signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, which is the Nile River, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moshe said unto the Lord, O my Adonai, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech, and of a slow tongue. And Jehovah said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb or deaf, or the seeing or the blind? Have not I, Jehovah? Thou therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, O my Adonai, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. 14. And he, let me read that again, verse 13. And he said, O my Adonai, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And he said, O my Adonai, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of Jehovah was kindled against Moshe, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of Elohim. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moshe went and returned to Yitro his father-in law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto thy brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Yitro said to Moshe, Go in peace. And Jehovah said unto Moshe and Midian, Go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. 21. And Jehovah said unto Moshe, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart. But I will harden his heart that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Jehovah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. And it came to pass by the way in the end that Jehovah met him and sought to kill him. And then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, Surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, A bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision. And Jehovah said to Angaron, Go into the wilderness to meet Moshe. And he went and met him in the mount of Elohim, and kissed him. 28. And Moshe told Angaron all the words of Jehovah who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe and Angaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Angaron spake all the words which Jehovah had spoken unto Moshe, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed, and when they heard that Jehovah had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped. Chamash. So right there it's talking about the children of Israel. The children of Israel bowed their heads and worshipped as they believed because of the signs. And afterward Moshe and Angaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith Jehovah Elohim of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is Jehovah, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not Jehovah, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, The Elohim of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto Jehovah our Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. And the king of Egypt said unto them, Wherefore do ye, Moshe and Angaron, let the people from their works get you unto your burdens? And he's telling them to get back to work. And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the land now are many, and ye make them rest from their burdens. And burdens mean their chores and work that he made them do. And Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, Shavan, ye shall no more give the people straw to make brick as heretofore. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. In the tail of the bricks which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them, ye shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our Elohim. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain or false words. And the taskmasters of the people went out, and their officers, and they spake to the people, saying, Thus saith Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go ye, get you straw where ye can find it, yet not all of your work shall be diminished. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Egypt to gather stubble instead of straw. So of course there he's trying to make their work even harder. And the taskmasters hasted them, or forced them to hurry, saying, Fulfill your works, your daily tasks, as when there was straw. 14. And the officers of the children of Israel, which Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and demanded, Wherefore have ye not fulfilled your task in making brick both yesterday and today as heretofore? Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, saying, Wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? There is no straw given unto thy servants, and they say to us, Make brick. And behold, thy servants are beaten, but the fault is in thine own people. But he said, Ye are idle, therefore ye say, Let us go and do sacrifice to Jehovah. Go therefore now, and work, for there shall no straw be given you, yet shall ye deliver the tale, or quota, of bricks. And the officers of the children of Israel did see that they were in evil case, or in trouble, after it was said, Ye shall not diminish any aught from your bricks of your daily task. And he met Moshe and Aaron, who stood in the way as they came forth from Pharaoh. 21. And they said unto them, Jehovah look upon you and judge, because ye have made our Savior to be abhorred in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to slay us. And Moshe returned unto the Lord and said, Adonai, wherefore hast thou so evil entreated, or wrought trouble on this people? Why is it that thou hast sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in thy name, he hath done evil to this people, neither hast thou delivered thy people at all. That's the Torah reading for this Sabbath, folks. Shabbat Shalom.